Alright, so I'm going to set up my dialysis machine. And the first thing is, I need a preparation of my dialysis fluid. Now, I'm going to pour in my magnesium. By tapping it, it loosens up the magnesium. There's less chance of sticking to the bottle. Once my magnesium goes in the bottle, just going to close up the lid. And then I'm going to give it a good shake. And after that, I'm going to turn on my machine. Open up my cap. Take my connector cable. Take my A, which is my red. Push it in. And now that part is ready. So now I'm going to prepare my item. So I have my sodium bicarbonate. Back to here, okay? So once over here. Once my fluid is in, my finish turned on, I need to select my bicarbonate concentration menu. And when that is done, then it's going to start doing a function test. While it's doing this function test, I'm going to prepare my fluid. I normally take one of these clamps. Edge of the clamp here, just cut the plastic like this. Same with my dialyzer, like so. And then now I just hang these up. Okay, when you put the sodium bicarbonate in, make sure line up the bottom, pull up the top, line up the top, hold both hands, and then you squeeze it in. Make sure you support the bottom so when you push down so you don't break this arm. Next, I use some hand sanitizer, keep my hands clean. Get my dialysis bag, and then the first thing I do is take my label off, and now I'm going to stick it onto the dialyzer. Peel the top label off. First thing I do is take the first bundle of the dialyzing tube, the red tube, which is your artillery tube. You want to make sure this connector is nice and tight. At the same time, I will close the clamp, remove the paper. For me, what I normally do is I just hang the cable there until I'm ready to use it, and then I take my artillery line, put it in here so it's not going anywhere, it doesn't fall to the ground. Open up my chamber. Once my chamber is opened up, then I feed my line in, and I make sure my line is not pressed against the machine. Close the line, keep the connector in here, and then also connector here. This time, I want to make sure this connector is tight. Close the clamp, And then I'll put this up out of my way, which is going to go into these bags in a minute. Down here. Now, I'm going to put my tube inside this cable here. Make sure it's nice and tight against this unit. Then now I remove my artillery line. Just make sure it's not connected to anywhere. So I remove my dialyzer. Undo the cap, protector cap. And screw this in nice and tight. Turn it around. And this time I make sure the cable, this line here, it's got no kink in it. So now I go ahead and attach the artillery line into my saline bag. I normally line it up, then I push it in. Make sure you push it in all the way up so it doesn't slip off accidentally. And at this end here, I normally rest it against this part here so it's out of my way. Do the same. Once that's pushed in, give this a squeeze or two until the chamber is about halfway full. Alright, so now I prepare my my cable for my dialysis. So the first thing we got to do, we need to clean the heparin. By cleaning the heparin, pop the lid off, turn it upside down, and just give it a good rub. And you want to make sure you do that for about 15 seconds. After that, while this is drying, I open up my 20 millimeter syringe. We want to pull this back so you're about 10 to 12 millimeter away. Open up your needle, screw your needle in, pull that red cap off, put the needle down the middle. What we want to do is turn this upside down and push the air all the way in to your bottle, and then turn it to the side, and then this will start to suck the heparin into your syringe. And we don't have to get it all, as long as we get close. Then what we do is we want to close up the needle cap, make sure it's pushed down nice and tight. And then I normally tap to get the air out, and then we push out any excess air. Just give it a couple more taps. We don't want any bubble sitting in the unit. Once it's clear, open up your needle and your red cap. That goes to your sharp needle container. We remove the cap off for your heparin. Then we attach it, make sure it's nice and tight. Then what we want to do is push in until we see this line full of liquid. Okay? At this point in time, what I want to do is I'm going to start filling the line, open up the container here, and I'm going to open up both of them at the same time. And now I'm going to take this out, let the line drain in until we get something, get this line full. Then I proceed to put this cap back in. I now turn off I close my cap here, also close my drain here. Now, at this point, this line, as you can see, is pretty full of liquid. This line also is full of liquid. Okay, and on top of all that, this line now is prime as well. So it's fully prime. Okay, so now I'm just going to push my heparin in a little bit more, make sure there's no air in the pocket. Push this into the chamber. I make sure these 2 points are center, not lopsided. This is pushed in tight. And then I go ahead and tighten up with the thumb wheel. Make sure that's tight. Double check. Make sure when you pull on this, whole machine kind of pull together at the same time. Now, I like to remove this line clip only because I don't want to see any potential kink along my heparin line. Pause. Okay, you see my fluid is ready in 8 seconds. So when that turns to 0, then that line should turn green. So now you can see that line's turned green. Now I can go ahead and attach my water line into the unit. I normally take my line, hold it back, take my right hand, my other hand, turn it. I try to keep this line up, facing up, so any water is not going to drip into the floor. Then attach it to the bottom, to the red, and then to do the same thing for the green. So you get green, blue to blue, and then red to red. So now this is ready and fully attached. So the next step is that we want to flush the line and get rid of all the air in the line. To do that, what we want to do is we open up our line here and then turn on the pump, and the pump is turning. As the pump turns, it's going to be pushing about 50 milliliter per minute of fluid through the line, and that's going to start getting the air out of the line. So when I first start doing this, I can now attach this line, and the line is full, and make sure this line is open. So as the fluid comes down this chamber, we want to shake this to get the air out. And also as we shake it, this causes a vibration and the air rises. Another technique I use is I use a kind of a fishing bobber. I can tap it. Tapping it also causes the vibration, causes the air to rise to the top. You know, shaking or tapping, whichever you prefer. I kind of do both. And that should get most of the air out. So right now the pump speed is approximately 50. When it goes to a faster pump speed, that's and I go by that before I start turning this knob over here to fill this chamber up. And this chamber here. So right now it's still running at a slow speed. So good time to shake it up a bit. Just normally gets the air out of your dialyzer. You can see the air bubble coming up. Every time I shake it, you see more and more air bubble, you know, come up. Shake it, you can see more and more bubble. Now the speed is up to 250. That means it's a lot faster. The first thing I do is I make sure all the air is being pushed out of this line by pushing down on it. And the top, you can see I push up on it, and that normally get rid of all those air. Give it another shake, and this time I turn my knob, and we want the water level here on the chamber. We want this chamber to be about half of this line, approximately. Now I take my bobber, I hit this to get rid of all the air bubble out of this chamber, and as I hit this, the air bubble rises and it goes up to the top. And right about now, you can see the air is all gone. So once that stops, I need to turn this upside down, put my dialyzer in, tighten this up a bit so that's not going to loose anywhere. I go ahead and turn on the air detector, which is this air detector here. Also turn on the fluid bypass. And then now I go ahead and start the pump again. At this time, I'm going to readjust this chamber just so that I get about half. So from here to here, it's about half around in the middle. I can edit it out. Okay, once that portion stops, so what we want to do now is turn the dialyzer back up again. And at this point, I want to make sure all my lines are my water lines pointed vertically. I also want to make sure my dialyzer line is not twisted. And then I tighten up my back. And then I go ahead and start my pump for one last flush. So this time again, give a little tap. You can see the air bubble going up. Once no more tapping doesn't produce any more bubble, and now I tap the line. What we want to do now is get all the air bubble out from the line. And you can see the chamber, as I tap it, you can see the air bubble forming into that chamber. And now you can see it's pretty well done. So my lines are done. So right now, my cyst priming is completed. So I go ahead and click that. What I do is I try, there's still extra liquid left. I do the little extra priming. Press the extra priming, and then I'm going ahead and start the pump again. And what's going to do is it's going to take out that little extra liquid and also use that up. At the same time, check my line again. My line looks good. Once that's all done, what I do now is open this line up, close this, and I want to make sure my fluid for my venous line, when I do my, at the end, it's going to be give me a good flow. Now that I know everything is done, stop the pump. Once the pump is stopped, I go ahead and close the line. There's one here, one here. Just quick check, make sure this is tight. This line is closed. I take a clamp, and then I clamp my bag off, so when I remove this, water's not going to leak out. Same thing here. Close this clamp and close the top clamp. So what I do now is do a check. I got one clamp, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All my clamps are closed. 7, 8. Make sure these are tight. 9 and 10. So that's all the check I need to do. At the same time, I want to make sure there's no water leaking anywhere on the floor, and that is pretty well done. At this point, I can go ahead and press the connect patient, and now I'm ready to hook up for my dialyzing.